Hi, everyone. I am Jonathan, and this is...
I'm Sandra.
And together we are the Tired Parents. And this week we are going to discuss something that strikes a nerve with me. And I think it's something that really needs to be addressed in relationships across the board. And that is your husband a child? Is he? No. The really quick answer to that is no. Your husband is your husband. He is an equal to you. He is actually in a position of authority over you, but he is there to guide and direct the home and protect the home.
Protect the wife and children.
Provide for the family. Be guidance for them.
Lead.
And lead. They're not a child. And it's weird that this concept has arisen somewhere where spouses, they want to treat their husband like a child. And it's like, that's not the way that a man would want to be treated in a marriage. Like, I didn't get married to have a mother. Mm-hmm. I got married to make a mother with you, to make you a mother. That's the end goal there with it. Mm-hmm. And there's got to be something seriously misguided in women's minds when they treat their husband as a child, as someone that's actually, first off, the problem is that they're treating him like they're over their husband. And the traditional marriage, and especially with ours, it's like that's not the way it's meant to be. And by the biblical basis, it's definitely not the way it's meant to be. A woman is not meant to be in charge of the husband. That's God's duty to him. And if you're sitting here wondering as you're listening, like, what exactly do I mean by this? And I mean situations such as every time we got our Jotun, I don't think it's possible that he can not bark once in this video. He's always got to pipe in, make some noise, a big old fuzzball.
He's barking at fireflies.
So I bring up this point because I've lost a lot of friendships over it, and it's caused a lot of contentions over it. Friends that I've had for a very long time, even before they were married.
Childhood friends.
And in particular case, I mean, this is a situation we see all over the place, but I know at one point he had a friend that was getting disciplined by his wife and put a curfew on what he was doing because he needed to make sure to get his homework done for college. A child, like you're talking with your child, it's your husband.
She talked down to him in front of all his friends and family and told him he needed to stop barbecuing because he had to go write his essay and he had more homework to do and he had to get it done before bedtime. Yeah,
this is coming from, and they have children, mind you, too. So it's not even...
Yeah, he's an adult.
So, it's like, and this is where I typically say, if you're a woman, you want a child, then make a child. Don't turn your husband into a child or go into that and make a child. And then you can have all the power trip or whatever it is, the insecurities, whatever happens to be going through your mind. And you can treat it to your child, which is, below you. That's your authority. A woman's authority is the children. I mean,
we're not saying like as a mom you can bully your kids, but we're just saying if you want to play the motherly role, do it with your children at the appropriate place and time and with the appropriate family members, which are your children. But I don't know why you would choose to do that to yourself anyway. Why would you want to be your husband's mother wife? Why would you choose that for yourself? How stressful and strenuous, and that'd be so much extra work to have to manage your husband and everything he does and doesn't do. And
how insulting to the man, especially some of these men and the jobs that they have, we're talking miners, construction people that put their life in the risk, fishermen, engineers, cops, military personnel. I mean,
doctors,
there's no man that, is untouchable from this kind of plague of society with women treating him as a child. And it's really insulting to the man. Like women, really women, that's insulting. You married a man, treat him like a man. Treat him like the respect that that is granted to him, that level of authority. And it's incredibly frustrating. Like I said, it's insulting to the man for what they do. I mean, they go out, they work 40, 60, sometimes 80 hours a week to provide for the family, to protect the family, to be able to put you guys in a better position. And here you are, when he gets home, you give him your honey to-do list. You tell him he can't go out with friends. He's, basically grounded until he does whatever it is that you need to accomplish. And what bull crap. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of a video that we saw on his education's channel. There was like this meme that went around. And it was a short clip of these, it was like 3 or 4 men there. And they were, the thing was like, trying to asking their wives to do another 18 holes. Why? Why do you have to sit there and grovel and beg to your wife to spend more time with the guys, or to spend time relaxing? That's the thing. That's the key thing, relaxing. It's pretty, I guess it would be, you could even mark it against you if your husband's not relaxed around the home. You've made it a hostile environment.
He has to escape from you, or he longs to spend so much time away. Like, why? Maybe because you made it kind of a miserable place to be when he's with you. Like, maybe there's something there that you're not addressing, and you're just going after him and attacking him. And maybe, there's a reason why he needs so much reprieve from all the responsibilities and weight on his shoulders, because you're kind of pushing him away.
Yeah. And, all this has to be done through a foundation of trust and respect. And, we're not saying that for the guy that is, if I was to go out every night drinking with the guys, or spend every other waking moment, it's wrong on my part. That's an error on my part doing that. That's me taking advantage of the situation. And I guess that'd be like bullying, that'd be me abusing my power, basically abusing my level of authority.
And men aren't supposed to do that. They don't abuse their leadership role. They don't abuse their whatever I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. You don't abuse your leadership position. Yeah. You're blessed with the family that you have. You chose the wife of your children. You made that choice. You've got to kind of have that foundation, but sometimes, like I said, you're also in that authority position. Just don't overdo it. And if you want to go out, you should be able to go out with your friends. If you want to go out every other weekend, or, even once a month, I mean, even something like that, you should be able to go to your wife and be like, hey, honey, I'm going out with the guys tonight. I will be back later. Okay, you see that? That's the way it should work. It shouldn't be this like, oh, honey, can you please? I just want to go out with the guys. If I do this, I'll rub your feet for 30 minutes, and then I'll wash the cars in my thong. That's the kind of groveling these guys do, and it is so obvious when you go out and you're having a fun time, and then all of a sudden the phones start ringing. And all your guy friends, they start picking up, and you just see their face just drop. Guess what? Your time of relaxing, enjoying yourself, actually unwinding from your 40, 60, 80-hour work week is about to come crashing down, because on the other line is a greedy, nagging mother wife.
Yeah.
And that's not what you want. When you married your wife, you wanted to marry someone sexy and hot and fit, not a mother. Like,
Sorry.
You know, I didn't go for, you know, this
The old lady.
the old lady that raised me. You know, that's not the case. You know.
Well, I mean, from the wife's perspective, because I've had to deal with, you know, being friends with the wives that are like this or treat their husbands this way, and it's not like a every once in a while thing. It's like on a regular basis. That's why it's kind of a problem. And like, I'm just like, with the way you talk to your husband, there's so much disrespect, and you talk to him like, not even like you should talk to a child, because that's even disrespectful to talk to a child that way, in that tone, and talk down to them and belittle them. You don't do that to children even. So why would you do it to your husband? But how can you be like even remotely attracted to that man, really? Like, if he is like a child in your eyes or a little boy, that's kind of twisted.
Yeah. What
like how can you be like sexually charged and attracted to that man in the bedroom? That's weird. Like, I think that's really I don't like that thought. Anyway, so
go in a dark, weird way there that you want to avoid.
Yeah, I just think it's weird. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily they're pedophiles or something, but it's just a little odd. Like, it's very dysfunctional. And I've had to deal with the wives where it's like, well, like he went, you know, intertubing with some buddies and
river floating,
whatever. Yeah. Okay, so these are like the activities we're talking about, like really relaxing, like fun, positive,
and they're even occasional.
They are occasional.
They're not even like, this isn't like a every night or even every week thing. This is like
every
once
couple
a
weeks.
year, maybe. Like, I mean,
well, the river floating thing specifically, yes. But so the whole time he's out river floating with his buddies, his guy friends, like, and they're all like popping beers and having a good time, smoking cigars and floating along the river for hours, and is awesome. And like, he had confiscated all his buddies' phones because he didn't want to deal with the nagging wives. So before they jumped in the river, he confiscated all the cell phones. But, you know, he could freely keep his because I didn't call or nag him the whole damn time. No. Like, I knew what he was doing. I knew he'd be gone all day and into the evening, and he was just getting away from it all. And I could comprehend that and respect that and realize he's trying to get away from it all. He's trying to be in nature. He's trying to get out away from the norm or the routine or the, you know, familiar things. He just needed to get away and have a break. And it's not like he's gone for 3 days, you know, he's gone, it was the whole day, the whole evening. I didn't need to check in. I didn't need to bother. I didn't need to keep tabs or something. But I was the only wife out of all the wives that did that, was courteous like that. Because when the cell phones all came back into the men's hands at the end of the inner tubing session, they were all like instantly like getting right to their wives and, oh, you know, I'm on my way home, or we're wrapping it up now, or like with this anxiousness, like
it's pathetic,
strange, like they almost fear their wives, or some kind of like, well, if I'm 2 minutes late, you know, there's going to be consequences, like a child, like a teenager with a curfew. And I'm just like, that's weird. Like, obviously, you know, if your husband's really untrustworthy and he's out to 4 a.m. at a bar, that's one thing. But like these were all like decent men who were trustworthy, and they didn't have a history of playing around on their wives or women or being disrespectful to them even. So that's why it's weird. That's why it's uncalled for. And it happens even just like in where the guy's just doing innocent recreational things, and we've just experienced that a lot.
it's definitely a point that needs to be addressed and kind of taking care of almost immediately. You know, that's one of the things when we discussed how long should you date, establishing boundaries and letting people know what expectations are. That's one of those things that should be clear for men. Be a man. Be like, I am going to go out with my friends and I expect to not have to deal with an argument whenever I go and do it. And I won't abuse the power. I won't go and do it every night or whatever the case. And also, it would be fair enough to the woman, too. And I'm sure a lot of these guys, they let their wives go out and do whatever. You know, it's like
kind of the other side.
Hey, you want to go out and, I'm sure they're out with friends probably more often than the guy is out doing things.
Well, I have one of the wives specifically I was friends with, and I would go out. I went out like bowling with her. I'd go to the park with her, the museum with the kids. And her husband would not be pestering her on the phone. Where are you at? When are you coming home?
Nope.
What you doing? When's dinner going to be done? Or, he wasn't bothering her. He was leaving her in peace to have her time. And he lets, I'm able to go out to lunch with a friend without kids and have a little break, or go to a cafe and read a book for a little bit and have a break on my own. Mm-hmm. I'm able to, do a little bit of shopping or a pedicure or something, and he'll take the kids for me and he gives me those breaks and those when I need them. And I think I should do the same for him. And it's just interesting too, because how do you expect your husband to maintain friendships if he can never be alone with his guy friends to have conversations that he needs to have without you around or other people around? And
that's one thing. And I'm sorry, ladies, your man is not going to talk to you about everything that's on his mind. That's not something he's going to burden you with. And he needs his friends. He needs confidants they can go and talk to. Now, we don't have as much of a need as women do, I think, to have to engage in social activities. And
we're social butterflies.
I don't think it's one of those things, but men do need to have that companionship, that friendship. And plus, also, when you want to move, who's going to come over and help you move? It's your husband's friends. It's not going to be, your friends. They might come over and throw some stuff in boxes. I think every time we move, that's what the women wind up doing is they organize boxes, which is great. Of course, that's
very
important.
Nice and helpful.
It's an annoying aspect that I don't particularly want to do. The heavy lifting and the loading and that's
typically the guy.
That's on my friend's side. So if you kind of cut that off, and you're gonna run into situations where you need men, you need muscle, you need weight. It's going to come from your husband's side. So, treat your husband with some respect.
And his friendships, too.
And you also, and the other thing, too, when you do that, it looks really good on your husband's side. It makes him look like he's in charge of his household, that he's a respected man in his home, that he's got it together.
He's competent.
And he's competent, and it's respectful, and it's a very high compliment to you as a wife.
You chose a competent, strong man that can handle his own and doesn't need you to tell him what to do.
And also just having that freedom. Like I said, it makes my wife look pretty darn good when I could just call and be like, guys, I'm just gonna let my wife know, and we'll keep going. And
they're like, what?
They're like, what?
That's not how it works.
That's not. It's like, no, I'm good.
No, that's not real.
So it's a healthy relationship when you're able to do that. And I know we've rambled on quite a bit with this video, but
I think it all needed to be said, though. It's because it's just this thing where I feel like it's also this generation, this younger generation, is a thing. It's instead of back in the day where a husband maybe was too controlling and maybe there's some issues there sometimes. I don't know about everybody, but sometimes there's issues with a man being overbearing or not right to the wife, right? But now it's kind of a reversal thing. It's all reversed. It's we have seen so many controlling and even borderline verbally abusive, emotionally abusive wives who use that to kind of keep their husband in their claws. And it's okay, loosen up. Just loosen up a little. Let him be a human being and live life and enjoy his life too. And he's going to like you more. And he's going to want to spend more time with you if you give him his space and his time to relax and rejuvenate his spirit and, you know, have some beers with the guys and you kind of just step away and let him be. Like,
I think
men
that's actually,
love that.
that's probably one of the best points, and we'll close with that. And you hit it, you know, the nail on the head is when my wife allows me to do this, she ratchets up that sexy factor, ratchets up that beautiful factor. And in the end, she winds up getting more of my quality committed time to her. Because at that point, then I'm very appreciative, and I'm going to show my appreciation for, you know, having the freedom that I have and the ability to, well, be a man. The ability to be a man, to be in charge of my home, and to be in charge of my home and be in that position of authority. And that's honestly going to give you a happier husband and a happier marriage than anything else. You're going to have probably less contention from your husband. And you might not even need to bother writing down a honey-do list. You can just go, hey, honey, do you mind taking care of this when you get the chance? And guess what? The husband's going to work on that because you've given him the time and the respect of allowing him to go out and be a man and be with his friends. And that's going to be more rewarding in the end than you trying to control him and manipulate him and treat him like a child. Because your husband is your equal. He's your authority figure. He's, at the very least, he's an equal, but he's your authority figure. And he is not a child. You're not a child. You didn't marry. I really hope you didn't get married thinking that you're going to have a big, an adult child to take care of. Because, you know, like what Sandra mentioned earlier, it's a little weird to be able to want to do that. So I think we'll leave it there.
I do want to mention one thing, though.
We'll leave it with her final point, then.
Okay. Real men, like, honest to God, of course, my biased opinion, this is a real man right here. Why I married him, he's a real man. So, real men, manly men, if you want one of those that have their, like, manhood intact and stuff, like, the provider, protector type of man, they do not like being forced to do things, like you forcing them. Ugh, men do not. It. No, they're repulsed by that.
We have to deal with that all week long with bosses. Ugh.
So the less like forcing stuff, like you're forcing them to get home, you're forcing, you know, unless like your child's sick with a fever or some emergency.
But we're not including those extreme circumstances that go without say.
That's not really what we're talking about. It's just like the kind of goof off time and free time and kind of those things. But like men don't like having their wives trying to force stuff on them. No. Men don't like that. Not masculine men, like the good kind of masculine men. They don't like that. They don't appreciate that, and they'll find you less attractive. Mm-hmm. Trust me, I've made some mistakes that I've had to learn from in the past. And I stopped doing certain things because I noticed it was detrimental to the way he perceived me or the way he responded to me or his attraction levels to me or whatever. And not like I had a huge like problem with being bossy and stuff. Not really. It's not my personality type. I'm not very controlling of other people, period. But, you know, I just noticed that men, you know, they like to be kind of left alone.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of like that, you know? They'll come to you.
So, great point. And I want to thank you all for spending the last little bit. I know this ran a little bit over, but it's definitely a topic that is near and dear to both of us.
Yeah, it is.
And it should be near and dear to anyone out there. You should be able to treat each other with, you know, have that kind of healthy respect for one another. So until next time, this is our traditional perspective this week, and we hope you all have a wonderful, glorious evening, day, morning, whenever you happen to read this or watch this. Not read. This is video. It's not reading.
Maybe they'll listen to it while they're doing dishes.
Watch this, and God bless. You'll have a good one. Bye-bye.